This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Night left in the month of June, and then you get into a new year for Kenya. When I say a new year, economically, the fiscal year, the budget year, the budget cycle, the budget year begins on the 1st of July. So still 2 weeks to go in this month to see then what's going to happen as you get into it proper. Sawa. All right, a very good morning to everybody, and thank you for being here. Our live streams are up on YouTube, on Facebook, and on X. And good morning to our audience on KTN. Sorry, guys, a little bit of a bumbling start into Tuesday morning, but you know what? We're here, and we're going to have those conversations as we normally do. So karibuni sana, and thank you for joining us. Sometimes the vehicles do what they do, but we're here anyway. Okay, so as we get into the morning, there'll be a couple of conversations that we'll have, and I'm just going to let you in on what some of those are before we get into it proper. Sawa. We'll start off our conversations today at 7 a.m. and we will do that around our conversations on Game Plan 2027. As you know, we've been talking about what 2027 is going to look like and the kind of carriage that it will have. Professor Alfred Omenya is a policy and governance expert. Strengthening the opposition is what we're going to hear about today. It looks as though there may be cracks here and there. Is it necessary to have an opposition? Must that then be very clear from the get-go what it's going to be? Professor Omenya will join us at 7 a.m. for us to have that conversation. Okay. Oh, this hullabaloo of passports and rather IDs and whether you can actually give them away for a song. And I mean, yesterday it was interesting because, you know, after the show that we had, I was tagged by some folks in South Africa, and they were talking about the fact that, you know, the whole xenophobic issue comes into play here and what you can or cannot do. Interestingly enough, somebody from Kenya yesterday asked the question and they said, well, what's the problem? Listen to this. If I like Kenya and I want to stay here and I don't have any problem being here, what's the problem with me then spending a little bit of money to get the ID? I promise you, an alive, blood-thumping adult human being asked that question. So people who are buying the IDs maybe don't feel that there's anything wrong with that. And people who are selling it don't feel that way either. Well, we're going to open up this conversation just a little bit with Professor Peter Kagwanja. He'll join us at 8 o'clock and we'll be talking about the ID cards auction impact on the 2027 Kenya elections. Is there a link here that you have more people? I mean, what did we see pictures of? 6 IDs, one person, different names, the same name, different years of issue. And is that what we're looking at? That we have multiple identity cards that may be used for a particular purpose? We're going to open this up a little bit. It doesn't matter if it was in 2022, whether it was in 2025, or whether it was in 1953, or whenever ID cards started. The point is that people can buy an ID for a song. So, is there a problem here? We'll be having that conversation with Professor Kagwanja at 8 o'clock. And then at 9 o'clock, political intolerance is the conversation that we'll be having. Enter goons. Who hired goons? Who paid them 1,000 shillings? Who was escorted by police? Who the church is then now being told to stay out of politics? Why should you have a post-budget forum in church? The Council of Muslims also came out yesterday and also condemned this attack that happened by goons within the church and said, you know what, this space is not where you need to be having this. So, I mean, it's not just the All Saints Cathedral that came out. Religious organizations across board came out and condemned this very act. So now when we're talking about, you guys, this goonism is real, that it is an employment tactic for a lot of people who feel that it does or it achieves a certain purpose. Bishop Dr. George N. Kamau is a thought leader and Deputy General Overseer, Ambassadors for Christ Fellowship, Political Intolerance and the Goons. We'll be having this conversation with him at 9 o'clock. That we also heard the provost of the cathedral come out and say, come on, we can't have this kind of thing. It doesn't matter. That can the church be a guiding light? Yes, it can. Should you castigate it? Perhaps you shouldn't. So these are the conversations that we'll be having today. And I know already it has people with their emotions very high. park that a little bit and let's try to have some objective conversations today, because the things that we are dealing with are quite something. And we can't be in a situation whereby it's always high pitch fever, tempo go, and that we hurt in the process. There are too many things happening at the same time for us not to be objective about certain things. So those are the conversations that we have in the Situation Room this morning, wherever you're tuned in from in the country, the region, and the world. This is the Situation Room. It's Kenya's biggest conversation. And we'll be talking a lot of these issues, so engage. It was interesting because yesterday when we had the segment of Dear Mr. President, what did people say? That, look, at the very least, I will open up about what I am going through so that maybe somebody will hear me and that we can come together to start to change things one by one. The president apologized yesterday. And for whatever intent or purpose it was meant for, I think it was a good thing. He apologized yesterday and he said he's sorry for his involvement in the police coming out on the streets and shooting Kenyans. And he said never again would he give an order for the police to do this. He did. This happened yesterday from his mouth. He's off to the G7 in a short while, but he said that he is sorry. He made the apology. And we all heard it, right? He did. And I think for anything that it would mean, I think it was a good thing that he did that. And beyond that, I don't know what we can say. But he did make that apology and he qualified it with certain things. He said he is sorry for those who lost their sons and daughters. And he also went ahead to say that he would never again give the order for such a thing to happen. Wait and see? Okay. But he made the apology. Accept? Okay. It's 24 minutes after 6 o'clock. And as you know, this week we are in Guinea-Bissau. This is where Aseto has taken us. And I want to share today's proverb with you, something for you to then be able to ponder. And then we'll look into it a little while. I can see you guys tuning in and getting into the room this morning. We'll say hello to you. Thank you for being here. And I want to encourage us to, again, be objective in our discussions. And let's try the very best to start with an example of be builders and edifiers and not tearers down. From Guinea this morning, this is it. The man who borrows trousers should not run. This is from Guinea-Bissau. Find it on your map. But the man who borrows trousers should not run. What would you make of that? It'd be interesting to say. Tell us in the comments this morning and we can talk about this later. If you're depending on others, be careful not to create problems. That's something that we can look into. If you are depending on others, be careful not to create problems. Also, if you borrowed a pair of trousers for you to make it from point A to point B, there is a possibility that those trousers could not fit you. They could be too big, so they would fall off on the way. So you want to be careful how you navigate. Or they could be too small. So if you ran, they could rip. And you also want to be careful how you navigate. Same thing. That you need to be careful with the assistance of others because you don't know what would happen if you misuse it. Yes, I like this proverb. I really do. Okay, so we're going to say hello to you and thank you for tuning into the room. Just a reminder that if you're silently listening to the Situation Room this morning, very glad to have you here, that you're very interested in making sure that we're having builder conversations that build. Meanwhile, Jerry's here trying to reach somewhere and she can't, so she's stepping on the chair. It's quite a fun thing to watch, I'm telling you, the things that make me happy every morning. It's quite humorous and entertaining. So we'll say a very good morning to you. Our live streams are on YouTube, Facebook, and on X. And those who, like I said, those who listen silently and those who tune in every day to then be able to engage. Engagement is important. Unto action. A very good morning to you, Samuel Bisimwa, who is tuned in this morning. And says, good morning, Spice Family. A very good morning to you. D Combo says, good morning, Spice Family. Good morning to you as well. Robert Mbogo, tuned in from Mombasa. Good morning and karibu sana. Leo says, hello, Princess Ndu and Aseto. Aseto is coming, but he's hearing those greetings, I'm sure. Was the 2 billion shilling compensation factored into the budget? This is interesting because I've poured through the pages and I've not been able to find it, but it could be under something else. Do you understand that there are budgets that could be named like miscellaneous or and others? This could be under that. I can't say, but it's definitely something to look into. I'm going to pour through those pages again and see if we can find it. So that's the kind of the answer to the question. Is the state ready to abide by recommendations that it should apologize for the atrocities against its citizens? Well, the president started with that yesterday. Bernard Ogamba says, good morning. The only radio program that died, not play any music, but still, the only radio program that does not play any music, but still most relevant and followed. I am so disturbed with radio. There have been gambling sites, Marat, Cheza, and others. I hear you, Bernard, but here we are. This is Talk Radio. Leo is asking, why was tear gas thrown into the Nya indoor arena during a volleyball match? This regime is serving tear gas like confetti. I am not quite sure the details behind that. But yes, we did see that people had to run to safety during that volleyball match. There was something going on. That, remember, it was Ulinzi playing, gosh, I don't know. But one of the tear gas canisters went off. Whether it went off accidentally or whether it was actually lobbed is what is still trying to be determined, okay? But then the question also comes in that why would you have a tear gas canister at a volleyball match? Do you see now my confusion? I would also be wondering somehow the same thing. Because I don't understand. I mean, you bring a bottle of water, maybe a ball, tear gas canister. I played sports, so I don't know, man. I don't know why I do that. Kimiak says, good morning. My son was unwell yesterday. Oh, I'm so sorry. I hope he's doing better. What was wrong? I missed you guys, but we are now doing better after hospital. Ah, fantastic. At least Shah worked out. This is a good thing, Kimiak. And you see why I'm talking about objective conversation? Because, Kimiak, you do have some reservations, but you're mature enough, able enough to say, yes, we went and Shah did work. But you still say nothing good will come out of the Kenya Kwanzaa administration. Give me a good morning to you. I'm glad the little boy is doing better. And, you know, I just have to say thank you for being there to take care of your son. I think sometimes these thankless things that we do don't, and many would say it's your responsibility as it's your job, but I'm glad that you were there for him. Desmond T says, good morning. OT Des, 2027 presidential candidate, Mwanze Kunita Mhesh. Really? Well, a good morning to you. Peter Kiaria is tuned in this morning. Keep your standards high and don't settle for something because it's available. Man, Peter Kiaria, where was that message like 14 months ago when I needed you? Peter, I myself should have kept my standards high. Kisa Daniel says, good morning, Spice. When you sell your brother, even the buyer cannot trust you. Kabisa. Boba Coco says, good morning, Indu and Dennis, listening in from Karachuonyo. Ushikwepo Shikamana. Hey, now Dennis is not here to tell me what that means. The goon who was nabbed did spill the beans, and now Kenyans know that who is behind goonism. This is the thing. They take your 1,000 shillings, and then they rat you out, and they tell you, yeah, that's the guy who gave us the money, man. I was just doing it for the coin. Okay. You know who these people are. Who was it that was telling us the other day that we had this conversation? It was Cyprian Yamamu who says, we know who these people are. You know who you should vote for. You know who the bad eggs in the basket are. What are you going to do with that information? Wesut says, tuned in this morning from Durban. A very good morning to you. And Clement Ochola also tuned in this morning from Malindi. Mvua too the whole night. Showers of blessing, brother. Let's look at it like that. Stan Ngasha is tuned in this morning. Team TSR, good morning. Tuned in from Juja. You're waking up early at railways. You realize you are not alone. The back to school hustle is real. We pray for calm to resume in schools. Back to school, where again? Are we not going on midterm? Or where do I live? Tips Muke says, good morning, Spice FM team. If we're going to sin, we must sin quietly. This was said by Eric Griffith Jones, Attorney General to Kenya. Do it quietly, don't tell anybody. Usana Mark says, good morning, Spice family. Hii reduction ya fuel price ni gani? Sioni tofauti kwa petrol ni sawa tu. Yeah, 22 cents. Fire Red says, good morning. Good morning, everybody. Another day to receive your flowers. Asante sana kabisa. Good morning to you. Many thanks for doing this tirelessly. Much appreciated. You are a gem. Fire Red, thank you so much. Achieng says, good morning, tuned in from, Achieng, I beg your pardon. It says, good morning, Indonesian, tuned in from Ulchin in Montenegro. How about that? Well, a very good morning to you. Mutuflani says, good morning to the princess, Sir Shut Up and the squad. So now DCI is pardoning goons and compensating the victims with cash. Yeah, you're gonna need something probably stronger or a double of that, Mutuflani. Tula Omar says, good morning, Ndu. I'm worried about the IDs being sold. You should be. We'll talk about that with Professor Kagwanja this morning. Mutuflani Atisa, shut up. Yeah. Mutuflani has christened Dennis, so shut up. Eric Nganga is tuning this morning and says, glad to be back. While our focus is on the finance bill, a U.S. plane was spotted in Laikipia Air Base, just for your information. Hey, okay. All right, Eric Owar says, good morning, guys. Good morning to you, Eric. You look good in olive green. Thank you, Rahim Tula. Lohimbo is tuned in this morning, tuning from Dar. Looking forward to today's conversation. Of course, thank you for being here. The SA situation is complex and deeper than the way we see and hear it. I lived there for 18 years and I know it well. Yeah, I think there are very many layers to this conversation. Unfortunately, the output is the thing that we then apply in a one uniform manner, and we can't do that without understanding what's really going on. But the truth of the matter is that xenophobia should not have any place in our conversation. It shouldn't. And everything that we can do to wipe it out should be. I know it's a difficult situation to have, and that's where we are at the moment, unfortunately. Good morning, Team Spice, says Sarah Kilonzo. Very good morning to you. Cyrus Yagon is tuned in this morning and says, good morning, Karibu. I love to see everybody getting into the room today. It's great. Let's talk together. Joshua Mulwa is tuned in from Upper Hill. Has the Immigration Department responded to the ID issue? No, my brother, they have not. I don't think they will. I'm just giving my... I don't know. Ramtula says, you cannot attack a church, then you are shocked when the mosques and temples and Gudarawa and synagogues condemn the attack. Can't be, you can't. I mean, come on, because it could be them tomorrow. Absolutely. And everybody has come together and say, this is not acceptable. You can't do that. You say he can keep the sorry to himself. You don't want the sorry? Joshua says he made the apology and you believed him. I believed that the words came out of his mouth. That's what I said. I saw the words coming out of his mouth. I heard the words coming out of his mouth. That's what I believed. Okay. Apologies in Guinea's Iwekwe where the sun don't shine. Ooh-wee. Okay. Boba Coco says the sense vanished a long time ago and that's what you reduce the petrol fuel. It's actually quite insulting. Eric Nganga says Kenyans are tired from the nonsense. Okay, I hear you. Isa Kale says, today I'm listening from the background. Good morning to you, Isa. I'm here cheering you on as Seto takes a nap. He's not napping, no, he's on the way. A little bit of logistical, technical issues this morning, but he is on the way. Simon is also tuned in. Simon Wihu tuned in this morning. Team Spice Empress Ndu and Seto keep the conversation going. Kabisa. A very good morning from Umoja City. I saw the airport got a new customer from Zambia. That would be Zimbabwe. We'll talk about that in just a minute. Patrick Arum says, good morning. Teachers who manned national exams last year have not been paid. Excuse me, hello. Teachers who manned national exams last year have not been paid. Last year, we're in June. So Boaz Naliana unfortunately says that Shah did not work for his wife. He paid 10,000 cash for her treatment. Nothing good. Yikes. Bwangi Juma, we see you. Good morning, Team Spice. How are you all this blessed morning? During the abduction and shooting in the legs, who was the commander-in-chief? Mr. President, your apologies are not accepted. Ooh-wee. Chav says, good morning, Ndwana Seto. Dave Mangera says, good morning, Ndwana Deno. Edwin Juma is tuned in this morning from Muscat in Oman. A very good morning to you. Mukoya Mpebelezi says, good morning in Situation Room, Kenya. Mkoa Nchia, Mafioso na Makachinja. Ooh-wee. Edwin Juma says, JKIA and is saying, yikes, I know. We'll share that story with you in just a bit. Osana Emily says, good morning. Chivayo private jet, Chivayo JKIA. How now? Hey, makubwa kweli, makubwa haya. Yep, that's the stuff that we're looking at this morning because it's already starting to get crazy and we haven't even looked into the headlines yet. Mutuflani, I think you're going to need a double. That's what it sounds like this morning. All right, we're coming on 25 minutes to 7 o'clock and we'll get into those conversations this morning. As you get into the room, even after we've done this, take our greetings. It's very lovely to have you in the room this morning as we get into these conversations and thank you for doing this with us every morning. We'll come back and look into what the headlines have to say. Keep it here with us. Good morning.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
At State House with close ties to President William Ruto, reviving scrutiny of the project months after the collapse of the Adani deal amid public outrage. The new arrangement sees Chivayo linked interests brought in as partners by a Chinese consortium, a move already raising questions over how he secured a foothold in such a sensitive national project. How? Critics point to his prior fraud conviction, while the Law Society of Kenya is demanding full disclosure of the contract terms and warning against what it calls a repeat of the same opacity under a different name. Whether you use Adani coming from South Asia or Central Asia, or you use Chivayo coming from South Central Africa, it smells fishy. If it walks like a duck, it's not a giraffe. That's what I keep saying. So this is going to be a very interesting one to look into. I'm going to give you details of that in just a minute. Yes. So to do was it properly bidded? Did it go through the tender process? How did they come at this agreement? You see all those questions that you're asking right now, like, okay, how did they even lock horns and say that it was going to be him who was going to work on this contract, his business, this consortium, upon what were the details upon which it was arrived at? The nitty-gritty of this needs to be made very clear. I have seen the model design of what we've all seen. I mean, it's in public knowledge of what the new design airport is going to look like. Top notch. I think it would be fantastic if it gets done. Now, the process. Remember that thing we keep talking about, the process through which you awarded a particular firm the contract to then do this, then comes into question. And those are the questions now that the Law Society of Kenya is saying, let us know what exactly this is about so that we can be sure that we've not sneaked in a teaspoon or two of corruption. You know what I'm saying? Yes. So we'll look into that story in just a bit. Matiang'i warns of ID fraud crisis and blames state for enabling cartels. Many might ask what happened because Matiang'i was the super CS during the time where a lot of the dates that we see on these ID cards were issued. Now, many have said, okay, well, if the ID itself was fake, it's very possible for anybody to have put a fake date on the ID. Follow me so far? Okay. He's called it out and said, you're enabling cartels and you need to actually stop. And his quote is, it is very shameful to say the very least. And I hope those in leadership will handle this matter with the seriousness that it deserves. Let me tell you, if somebody can get your ID as your nation for 15,000 or maybe even less, or maybe a cup of tea and a song, there's a problem. I said it yesterday. And I'll say people took me, castigated me, said, how can you come and talk about things that you don't know? I don't know. I don't know who, I don't know where, I don't know when. But what I do know is that you should not be able to hand over your national document, which is the purview of citizens, whether by natural attrition, whether by birth, marriage, whatever. It's their right to have. You should not be able to hand that over to somebody else for 15,000 bob. I'm saying something crazy? I don't know. CS defends fuel levy and says diesel prices cut by 10 shillings. So Opio Wandai says, no. He has defended the government on the recent fuel pricing measures, saying interventions through the Petroleum Development Levy have helped shield Kenyans from rising fuel costs. Sour. Okay, it's down, man. According to the Premier, no social media for under 16s in the UK. So this is a new rule, a new law in the country. And it's saying that if you're 16 and below, all these things that you people used to do nonsense anyhow, they're saying, no, we're not doing that anymore. The PM Starmer says the sites expose children to dangerous and addictive content. Stakeholders' voice is divided, as some saying the move will keep children safe online, others think it will push children into less regulated spaces. But the Prime Minister is saying social media children under 16, no. Hi, Dennis.
I do.
Good morning.
Morning,
I'm fine. How are you?
Good.
Yeah. Walifanya hii kitu?
Tumebadilisha miguu ya gari.
Pole sana.
You made it.
You are good though.
I am here.
Nimeona. It's cold.
It's cold out there.
Even if he is walking around with a portable fireplace.
Okay.
Something like that. Okay, I'll give you a minute to chill. While
we can continue.
The PM in the United Kingdom,
in London
town, has said that children under if this rule comes into play, that children under the age of 16, no social media for you.
Okay.
Because it's too dangerous. Dangerous.
My question is in the implementation.
Well, where it is now is that she's likely to face a leadership challenge in the coming weeks. Social media sites are exposing children to content that is dangerous and designed to be addictive. This is what what the Prime Minister said. The ban will include platforms like Snapchat, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and X, but not messaging services such as WhatsApp. This according to the government. Yes, she's going to face backlash. The PM is going to face backlash. That is for sure. He will face the backlash.
Because then the responsibility majorly then lies with the parents. Because when you talk about social media for an underage, there's a high possibility it is now for the parents perhaps to not give children phones.
True.
You know,
but the thing I'm also thinking is that you just think about any situation where you are right now.
Yeah.
That if there's a child between the age of 10 and 18, 5 and 18, what's the first thing that they're doing when you sit in any social gathering? First thing.
Yeah.
First thing, and you can just already. This is going to be a hard task for him.
It is.
And that when they get to Parliament, because you can't just say things in the UK. You don't just say things on the side of the road and then implement it. No.
It's called House of Representatives.
It will go to the House. I don't know. It will be just interesting to see how it happens.
I mean, Kistama has a long way to go with that.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult.
Because also the question then is, what's the responsibility of social media companies and their role in ensuring that content that is on their platform is good for children?
They're not going to, I can tell you for free.
Exactly.
That they're not going to regulate the content that they put.
Yes.
They will have community guidelines. They will talk about safety procedures and all of that. But they will not regulate, because it makes, for number one, it makes them a ton of money.
True.
And it also gives them the audiences, which again lead to a ton of money. So the bottom line is the dollar, my friend. You will not tell them to remove the thing.
Yeah. I think the only way is they will have to pass a law that then gives them access to data on the social media platforms within the UK for them to determine then the kind of information that went on the social media and perhaps find them on the same. I mean, it's a long way.
Unless you will you start putting up firewalls whereby, or paywalls whereby, or just information walls where you have to confirm the age of a child to then allow you past? I don't know, man. It seems a real muddy at this point.
I mean, it's a little bit muddy, but let's see. Let's see how they handle it. Perhaps maybe it will also be an example for the whole world on how to handle it.
True.
Yep.
Zimbabwean fraudsters firm secures a stake in the 375 billion shilling JKIA deal. You heard? Rewind selector.
Okay. Play. Pull up selector.
Zimbabwean fraudsters firm secures stake in 375 billion shilling JKIA deal. I'm going to read that story in a little bit, but you just palm with that one for a minute.
Okay.
Because now we're asking a question on the next page as to whether CEC Kerich is suspended or on an official visit to the US. Sasa, Dubai,
Alinda, US.
Nikama.
Okay.
Fresh controversy has emerged over the whereabouts and employment status of Nairobi County's finance CEC Charles Kerich after conflicting accounts were presented before the High Court on Monday, where the matter came up before Justice Patricia Nyaundi at the Constitutional and Human Rights Division on Monday. Kerich's lawyer, Duncan Okach, said his client was not on the run, as widely reported, but had been away on official trip and was on working leave. So which one is it? Official trip, working leave, Nigani. My client has been abroad and on an official visit. We will request 21 days when he will have come back and he is able to sign documents for filing in court. The lawyer maintained Kerich was not evading justice, but was instead on an official trip, a disclosure that immediately deepened uncertainty over his legal and administrative status at City Hall. What makes the lawyer's claim more contentious is that it comes just days after Governor Johnson Sakaja issued a statement indicating Kerich had been suspended from his position following his contempt sentence. So which is it? Honorable Ibrahim Auma Nyangong shall act in the capacity of County Executive Committee Member for Finance and Economic Planning, effective immediately. When you say that, what happens to the person who was there before?
Yeah.
Are they not...
Have you fired them?
If you are still working, and somebody is in your position,
capacity.
What does that say about you? Just basic mathematics. Ama?
Yeah.
Maybe it's us who don't understand these things. You can be speaking a lot of English, but eventually...
You know what I'm looking forward to? Because we're living in a time when the judiciary is has been highly digitized. That means we can even hold proceedings online. Why are we not seeing the lawyer request the court that because my client is outside the country, why don't we have this matter digitally online and I will avail my client on that platform?
You're very sharp. In fact, you can have my portion of omena for today.
Because
hello,
right?
You can do it online.
Yeah. You know, so that the gentleman himself can tell the court exactly where he is, what he's doing there, and also tell the court when he will be back to the country and attend the matter physically. It's a digital world, though. Tulitengeneza digital superhighway. They said kilometers.
Kilometers.
This is at that point where you say the judiciary is working. Yes.
Well.
Yes.
You know, when you were not here, I told them how
the
president apologized to Kenyans yesterday.
Okay.
He said he's sorry.
Okay.
And that he should never have given the order, and that he'll never give such an order again.
Shoot on the leg?
Anywhere, even shoot in the air. Not going to happen. Lakini Wakenya wamesema wataki.
My friend,
people
you shot me in the leg, I'm on a wheelchair.
Sasa,
when you take responsibility for your actions and your utterances, I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's just how it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah, an apology does not take away an illegality. An illegality is sorted by justice. And in this case, if by your statement, someone was hurt, extrajudicial killing was happened, excess use of force by the police took place because of your order. Unaonanga ile kitu nasemanga command responsibility.
Yeah. Sasa, ni kama utakuwa unakuja late. Kila siku juu. This wisdom that you're dispensing this morning is stupid. But I like it.
You know, it's like, okay, you slapped me, right? You apologized. Does that take away the pain? Does it take away the marks on my face?
No, please.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay.
Mambo ni hivyo.
Okay. Sawa.
Because also, see, the katiba that we usually say is clear. Says what? Everybody has right to life.
Yes.
And also the police were the protectors of the law.
Yes.
Have their modus operandi and operational procedures. Right? So when they kill what's supposed to be done?
Go to jail.
No.
Oh, sorry.
The gun is taken. Ballistics is done.
Yeah.
You're taken to court.
Yeah.
If you're guilty, you're charged. Justice has been dispensed. You made an order. You have apologized. Thank you very much. We accept apology. But still, people were killed.
Can you say, wanapewa pesa, this process, in your sababu your headline imeandikwa hapo on page 8, process to compensate victims of violence begins with an apology from the president.
Even better. Apology accepted. Compensation accepted. Compensation is what? Admittance of guilt.
Hey, acero. I'm liking this.
Why would I compensate you if I've not hurt you?
Why do I give you 50 million if... Okay,
why do you give me 50 million if you're not feeling some type of way for shooting me on the leg?
Hey, okay.
Like what we said the other day.
Yes.
If you beat me up to a pulp and you apologize, my next request is take me back to the state
Return
I
me
was.
to before the beating.
Yes.
Before
Can you
the
do
pulp.
that? No.
Sasa ni kama hata wewe utaki hii apology.
Ninyo? Apology asanti. We accept you've taken responsibility for your actions. Beyond responsibility, justice must be given.
So, I don't even have an argument. There seem to be... Have you watched... It's an old movie. It was acted in by Sean Connery. Oh, my God, that man. Anyway, let's remain focused.
Yes.
There's a movie called The Untouchables. Go and watch that movie.
Okay.
It would appear as though, according to this story on page 9, that there are untouchables inside a cabinet where failure gets rewarded. Me, Sisa, Sita, Sema, what I need you to do is buy a copy of the Standard. It seems as though also this story is covered on The Nation, which we will talk about as well. Court orders, Ruto courts, village elders with monthly stipends in two-term plan. He has even taken the name and called it Iplania two-term. Now, pesa. Our boarding schools are not much different from prisons. Woo-wee, my friends. Jahira Gitai is talking about that in the opinion pages of the Standard today and says, prison, boarding school. Same. when you think about what happens, you can draw parallels between both experiences. Now, if that's the case, then maybe what Janet Oko said the other day about perhaps it's time to rethink boarding school is actually a real conversation. Turu? How do you say minutes in Kiswahili?
Minutes, dakika.
Dakika Machache. Tell us what's happening in the Daily Nation.
Court orders don't matter to them. Health Cabinet Secretary Eden Duale battling charges of advancing U.S. Ebola facility in violation of court orders. Treasury Cabinet Secretary John Badi fighting contempt proceedings for duty-free rice imports. Contempt. You thought it's only Kerich. Shock on you. Attorney General Dorcas Oduor renamed in the Ebola facility proceedings of alleged non-compliance with disclosure orders. And Defense Principal Secretary Patrick Mariru faces contempt claims over delayed payments to 1982 attempted coup torture victims. And Forestry Principal Secretary Gitonga Mugambi accused of defying court order halting destruction of an airstrip in Impunity Forest. And Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja in trouble after police erected barbed wire barricades to block protesters from the city center.
You're joking.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 individuals, senior ranking officers in the government, what wako kotini for doing what?
Disobeying court orders.
Court orders is a saje?
Chan.
Yes. Now,
wait, they're in court for disobeying court orders. I like
everybody has a contempt.
It's even Doko Sador.
Yeah.
She gives a mean curtsy, though. That's for sure.
But anyway, so are you surprised why other junior officers, like in the county assemblies, would not respect court orders? Because you set the precedence.
Absolutely.
2 billion shillings payout for over 1,000 protest victims. 1,000 protest victims. The president said, and I quote, "Let me also be clear about what these payments are and what they are not. They are not the price of a life, of pain, or of loss. No figure could ever be." That's why I said justice is our shield and defender.
Suggestion. Oh, sorry. Defender.
Yeah. Justice is our shield and
defender.
Compensation is admittance of guilt. Israel lifts Ebola ban on travelers from Kenya after protests.
Rwanda too.
Anyway, let's move swiftly. How Kenyan students beat 210,000 rivals to win global ICT titles. So 3 Kenyan students have won the grand prize in a competition on prowess in cloud computing, artificial intelligence, and other emerging technologies. They scooped the highest honor in the Huawei ICT competition global finals in China.
Beautiful.
Apple, we give you your flowers. We say, work well done.
Congratulations.
Yes. The only people who need to utilize that are individuals who are Maju and cannot access court orders. There are people here with skills who will tell you how AI is working. It's true.
Okay.
It's true. Dual certification aims to recognize both academic and vocational skills. So dual certification is designed to recognize that now learners who acquire practical skills will also receive a skills acquisition certificate. So CBE is a reality where we see someone would get certificates for their skills. Now, how students beat 210 rivals to win global ICT, that is in page 3 as well. Now we go to page 4, if I could only turn the paper. Now, loads of impunity. More officials face sanctions for defying court orders. Hey, wameitwa nini? Loads of impunity.
Yani?
Si mimi, ni gazette, page 4, ndio imesema.
Okay.
Ndio tunaweza sema, ok an en gazette, ndio imesema.
Ok an
and Gazette imesema. See me. 2 billion shillings payout for over 1,000 protest victims. That is in page 6. We see President William Ruto next to Deputy President
his name is Kithure Kindiki.
Yes, Kithure Kindiki. We have CJ Martha Koome and Chairperson Clarice Oganga of Kenya National Commission of Human Rights. Page 10. Ruto and opposition scramble for Western's 3.2 million vote basket. Akia Mungu, do you know? Tumefika campaign season.
Ni kama tuko tu just kubali. That's where we are.
But mimi nauliza, when you have the constitution that tells you exactly when you're supposed to be campaigning, and you're seen to be campaigning, where is the Attorney General advisor to government? Where is IEBC on its laws and rules on campaign? Where is EACC on ethics and flouting of the law? Where is police on investigation and arrest? Where is the judiciary in interpreting the law on when campaigning should be done?
Uncle,
Yes, sister.
all this big English that you're using to talk. Are you not the one who just told us just now that people are, you said call them lords of impunity?
Oh.
All those people that you mentioned were mentioned in the previous story. Now it's those people that you want to come and tell you not to campaign. I beg. See, I've taken back my omena from you now. I don't understand.
It's 7 a.m.
Sheesh. Really? Well, I don't know. What? Huh?
You see, this Sharia is for everybody else.
Okay.
Than the elite.
The rest of you can just hang out in the corner.
Yes.
In fact, the rest of you can actually start to partake of my
Respect the
omena.
law.
Where? It's for breathing heavily. Mutuflani, how far with that glass? Good morning, 7 a.m.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.